Federal government promises support incentives to local manufacturers. Taiwan seeks deeper economic ties with Nigeria. Oil falls for fourth day on expectations. Russia-Ukraine peace may lift supply. Asian markets react amid global economic uncertainties. And on the program, we will be taking a look at strengthening technical education for economic growth. You're welcome to Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar, your guide. Now let's begin by telling you that the federal government has assured Nigerian industrialists that it will address the numerous challenges facing the industrial sector of the Nigerian economy in order to unleash the industrial revolution drive of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. This assurance was delivered by the Minister of State for Industry, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Eno, where he acknowledged that the decline in the textile industry has negatively impacted productivity and job creation in this critical sector of the economy. He assured the company that under his leadership, the ministry is determined to provide the support needed for local manufacturers to thrive again. He also noted that the ministry will be convening a session for cotton textile garments stakeholders, which will address the challenges hindering their growth and also establish the Industrial Revolution Work Group that will be comprised of representatives of different sectors, including the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has applauded its members for the effective implementation of the Central Bank of Nigeria forex policy on the sales of interbank FM proceeds to BDCs, which has seen the Naira strengthen between 1,540 Naira to a dollar and 1,545 Naira to a dollar. The association also noted that the gradual implementation of the policy by the banks has contributed greatly to a significant appreciation of the Naira. This disclosure is contained in a statement issued by the APCON President Aminu Gwadebi, who congratulated the CBN, the federal government and Nigerians for the recent positive performance of the Naira. Now, how much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. Taiwan's head of mission in Nigeria and chief of Taiwan's mission at the Taipei Trade Office, Andy Liu, has called on President Bola Tinubu to ensure the relocation of Taiwan's mission in Nigeria from Lagos to Abuja. Liu, who stated this in Lagos, also urged the federal government to sign the Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement, which has been under discussion between both countries. He emphasized that the agreement will enhance bilateral relations and foster socio-economic growth. Nigeria is not lagging in the establishment of technical education institutions. In fact, it can boast so many across the country, including polytechnics, technical colleges, vocational training centers, and specialized institutes. These offer diverse programs in different fields, including engineering, agriculture, health sciences, and information technology. However, beyond the number lies several challenges ranging from inadequate funding to limited infrastructure, outdated equipment, deficiency of learning spaces, curriculum disconnection, and shortage of skilled educators. It was with the intent of surmounting these challenges that stakeholders in the education sector sustained calls for collaborative efforts among governmental bodies, educational institutions, and industry experts. In response to this call, the federal government has taken steps to improve the sector through a collaborative effort between the Tertiary Education Trust Fund and the Nigerian Academy of Engineering. The aim was to bridge the skills gap by strengthening technical and vocational education and training. Now to our discussion segment, amidst global challenges that are made worse by the absence of effective skill acquisition in the country, governments at all levels have not let down the gauntlets in improving technical education and vocational skill training programs. Emphasis is now placed on the need to provide skills and transform our teeming youth employable where people have degrees but no skills to contribute for development. Now to shed more light on how strengthening technical education can translate into economic growth is an educational and business development expert, Kolawale Kainde. You're welcome to the program as usual.
Thank you. Good day, Nigerians and those watching from the diaspora. Thank you for having me today.
Okay, beautiful. Let's delve into it. Well, before we actually talk more about how challenges and stuff, maybe we should start by you telling us what's your assessment of the state of vocational, education in the country.
Let us start by, first of all, commending the government about seeing the need to revive technical education. And of course, if you've been following what's been happening in the country, you've seen that there is a clamor for technical education, and currently there are also a proposal to include technical skills in the school curriculum. That shows you that the federal government is really aware, knows that there is a need for us to have more skilled people, because there is a paucity of skilled people in Nigeria, and there is a need to start from the basic, which is fantastic. We did a skill acquisition audit about 2 weeks ago, and we went all through the South to look at a number of skill acquisition centers that you'll be amazed that Nigeria has a whole lot of skill acquisition centers, but about 80% of them are non-operational. And for those who have structures, some of those structures are dilapidated. And for those where we found facilities, those facilities are, as you said, also have become outdated. And while you were making your comments, you spoke about the death of the of the textile industry. That shows to speak directly to the fact that our textile industry, which needs and uses a lot of technical skills, is really, really bad. And of course, your guess is good as mine. It has led to lack of, it has led to job loss and a lot of unemployment. So by and large in Nigeria today, we'll see that I think also about some weeks ago there has been some upgrade of some technical education institutions to polytechnics, and we even have one that was named after the current president in Abuja. It's a welcome development, but a whole lot needs to be done.
You know, you think by just talking about, you know, vocational skill has always been part of our curriculum, but what do you think, in your own opinion, what makes this particular move to actually revive this drive different from what we have had in the past? Because now we seem to be having more of talk shop than real action.
Okay, you would let's just start from a little bit some years back when COVID came. When COVID came, you find out that some kind of jobs were almost eradicated, and if you also are watching, you find out that a lot of jobs are being automated. The use of robots have become much more pronounced, most especially in the Western countries. And if you look at our university education system, you find out that even the University Commission is trying to scrap a lot of programs because, one, they are not in tune with the realities. And today, because of advancements in information communication technology, you find out that there is more need for technical skills experts. And you will be shocked, it's so pronounced in the technology space. And today, while I was at the Secondary Education Board, I met a director who was talking about sports, even as a vocation. You see, the issue of technical education and vocation, they are fused together. And today, without good support from the government, because it starts with government, then active private sector participation, and of course, involvement of entrepreneurs, it's become a very big challenge to make that gap, to breach that gap. Technical skills are really important for infrastructural development. They are also so important
What
for
about
economic growth.
development? How are they crucial to our economic and industrialization?
When you, the government is looking at diversification, area of agri, area of ICT and all of that. That means we need mechanized agriculture, right? We need people to work in the technical space. And what does that mean? It means that the more people that gets into that place, the more jobs that are created. The more jobs that are created, they lower the unemployment rate. The lower the unemployment rate, the higher the standard of living. The higher the standard of living, the higher the economic growth and development in the country. So it's a value chain process. If there are more jobs, of course, there will be more to spend. If there are more to spend, there will be more to produce. If there is more to produce, there will be profits for the people that are making this production.
Okay, you talked about, you've gone around, you've seen about the much of our technical institutions are not actually functioning. What do you think we need to do at this point in time to get to address this problem so that we can revive technical and vocational skills education?
Okay, most of those SACs, I'll call it SACs, skill acquisition centers, were actually, some of them were constituency projects, which were handed over to communities, and there were no technical manpower to power them up or to maintain them. So we need a private sector participation and to look and go to these communities and revive them, because these acquisition centers have already been given to the communities. These communities are not empowered, they are not enabled to manage them. So the government needs to allow the private sector players to come in and take charge of those skill acquisition centers.
Okay, well, what are the biggest challenges facing technical educations in the country today?
There are two major challenge,
Mm.
the challenge of the hand and the challenge of the mind. I'll break it out. The challenge of the mind means that the number of people that are really qualified to teach are very few. The challenge of the mind is that people see technical education as as an inferior education, so educational system. So it's not so appealing to the youth population, and which the youthful population really needs to go into that space. We came up with an idea of revamping the curriculum. We came up with an idea whereby you choose a technical skills, but we infuse a business skill, some business skills and some technology skills, so that it becomes a relevant thing. For example, probably you're learning how to sew, fashion and merchandising. So we teach you digital marketing and we teach you business management. So you can either be, you can work in an enterprise, you can manage an enterprise, or you can create an enterprise. So and most youths today despise most Nigerians within the bracket of 18 to 35 do not see a 9-to-5 job as appealing. So they want to own their own. So we can make technical education a way whereby they can practice entrepreneurship, but we make it appealing and make it rewarding.
Does it align with global best practice?
Absolutely, it does align with best global practices, because we actually formed that curriculum to look at what happens in the market. We actually looked at the market requirement need, not from the students, yes, from the student, but for what the market needs. You know, there's a lot of talk that they said Nigerian graduates are unemployable because there is a disconnect between what the industry wants and what the educational system or the academia are pushing out. So we are we are a bridge between them, and we are looking at what the industry wants and already needs. I worked in the bank for a while, and there was a time when we have computer breaches. We have to call somebody from some of our vendors to work on the systems. So some of these people do not have university education, but they were working they were fixing our systems, and most of us were graduates, first class, second class graduates. So you can see that we needed to have those people, and to know that the university or tertiary education, university and polytechnic, are not only the route to say that you are actually
with the recent development we're having, which you've just intimated me about, can you say that we've moved away from talk shop to real action, whereby we can actually see this, people going into technical vocational skills institutes and acquiring, the needed knowledge, with smooth environment to operate and to, come up with the right skills so that they can be employable? Have we moved from talk shop to action?
We are moving because we still have regulatory and compliance issues, which is what is a key challenge for many of us. Even for you to get a certification for opening a technical school, it's so difficult. And you have to almost have the capacity of probably running a polytechnic. You know how much that will cost a normal John or Harry or Funke that just wants to localize a particular part of a vocation. So what we have been doing is what we are already doing in agriculture: subsistence growth of technical skills. So we have the young people creating innovation hubs, and if that can be done at scale, yes, we can know that the government needs to look at it. So there needs to be a policy shift from the government being the active player to the people being the active player. Is it just government or
private sector engagement as well?
Now the public sector has to be an active player in the growth of technical education.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kolawole Kainde. It's always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you so much. It's always good to share my insights.
Now, government-owned enterprises have been urged to remit to the Treasury revenues due the federal government has at when due. This is as commissioners of finance, auditors and accountant generals from across the country in Abuja to brainstorm on the theme. Nigeria's revenue challenges and the way forward, with emphasis on exploring known alternatives. For the Minister of Finance and Coordinator Minister of the Economy, represented deployment of technology in addition to exploring Nigeria's services sector is the way to go. Rice has been projected to rise by approximately 50% year on year this year, despite the imposition of the 150-day import waiver introduced by the federal government to reduce the price of food in the country. The projection is part of the AFEX 2025 Annual Commodities Review. And now let's head to the global market, where Bossade is standing by to bring us up to speed with how, to you now.
Thank you very much, Musa. Hello and welcome to the Global Market Review. Now, European stocks moved higher on Monday as a number of defense stocks soared. DAX appreciated 0.75%, FTSE 0.6%, and CAC followed suit at 0.06%. Asia markets traded mostly higher as investors parsed Japan's fourth quarter economic growth data while awaiting a slew of central banks' decision from the region this week. We see the Nikkei appreciating 0.06% at 39,174.25, followed by the Shanghai Composite at 0.27% across 3,355.83, while the Hang Seng Index dipped 0.02% at 22,616.23. US S&P 500 was little changed Friday in a pause from a strong performance as investors weighed the latest on the global trade and inflation front. We see the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipping 0.37% at 165.35 points, followed by the S&P 500 at 0.01%, while the Nasdaq Composite topped 0.41% at 20,026.77. Africa stocks mostly bearish. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 dipped 0.42% at 80,634.94, followed by Tunisia and Namibia, while the Ghana's GSA Composite top 2.35% across 5,476.43 basis points. That's the Global Market Review this Monday. I am Bossade Able Amosu. Back to you, Musa.
Thank you, Bossade, for that update. Well, let's see how the market fared last week. The NGX market as put together by Lion Kaujo.
NGX All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 2.00% to close the week at 108,053.95 basis points and 67.418 trillion naira. A total turnover of 2.414 billion shares worth 55.512 billion naira in 80,988 deals were traded during the week by investors on the floor of the exchange. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 1.398 billion shares valued at 24.039 billion naira in 31,919 deals, contributing 57.92% and 43.30% to the total equity turnover in volume and value. The services industry followed with 247.303 million shares worth 1.165 billion naira in 6,277 deals, while the third place was the consumer goods industry with a turnover of 153.776 million shares worth 3.939 billion naira in 8,405 deals. Trading in the top three equities, namely Sterling Financial Holdings Company PLC, Access Holdings PLC, and Secure Electronic Technology PLC, accounted for 455.469 million shares worth 5.273 billion naira in 6,654 deals, contributing 18.87% and 9.50% to the total equity turnover in volume and value. A total of 48,850 units of ETPs valued at 19.310 million naira were traded in 95 deals. For bonds, a total of 77,290 units valued at 70.809 million naira were traded in 47 deals. On summary of price changes, 65 equities appreciated in price during the week, 31 equities depreciated in price, while 54 equities remained unchanged. Olayinka Ojo for Business Express.
Well, that's it. Business Express returns tomorrow by 9:30 a.m. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.